So you may remember this dark shadow gray Mach 1 from another story. The guy's sister had a bullet that was totaled, and I met him and got some parts off the bullet, and we became pretty good friends. And he was really nice to me. He said, "Come take any of these parts off the bullet that you want." And so this is when I went and visited him. And this picture was taken as he led me a couple blocks away to go look at a screaming yellow Mach 1. That was another story that I have in this playlist. So a few months went by, and we're on the same Facebook Mustang club, even though we're several hours away. And this picture was posted by somebody on that Facebook page, and they said, "Whose Mach 1 is this?" That was on the flatbed. And it turned out it was his. Snap. It had been totaled in the rain. Unfortunately, his dad was driving it with him, and they were going to get new tires put on it, and they hydroplaned, and the tires were quite bald, and he spun right into the barrier on the freeway, which was very unfortunate. So I had bought a yellow Mach 1 recently, and I went to visit him. He still had the green bullet that he was parting out, and he said that he had some good parts on it and that they were going to take the car away next week. So luckily, where I had bought the Mach 1, it was nearby, and I stopped by and I got some good parts off the car. So I stopped and looked at his Mach 1 for a minute, and you could see this big scuff on the back bumper where it had spun around. You can see the extent of the damage, how terrible that looks. You can see the wrecked bullet in the background too. He said it feels really bad to look at the car. He tried taking it apart to see if it was fixable, but the strut towers were both twisted really bad. The front end of that car is just gone. And he was kind of looking to me for advice and saying, "What do you think? Should I fix it? Should I try to fix it? What should I do with it?" And looking it over, I said, if it were me, I'd probably just part it out because the front end is so twisted it's never going to be the same. And so he said, "Well, since you're here, you can take anything you want off it. Go ahead and just start taking some parts off it. I'll part it out." And I said, "Well, don't do this because of me. Like, I want you to make a decision. Don't be persuaded because I'm here and because there are some parts that I could use off the car. I want you to make the decision whether you're going to part it out or not." And over the hour or so it took to get the other parts off the bullet, he was like, "No, I'm just going to part it out. Go ahead and start taking parts off it." And he was so nice to let me look over the car and see what there was. And as a matter of fact, when I bought the Mach 1, this is the day I bought this yellow Mach 1, I was looking the car over and noticed that the Mach 1 rear spoiler, which is a matte black special paint, the spoiler was cracked in two places. And he said, "Well, go ahead and take the spoiler off my Mach 1. And I was like, "Are you sure about that?" And he's like, "No, go ahead, take the spoiler, take take the radio." I had some radio issues with this car. It wasn't playing right, and that's another story that we'll get into. But he's like, "Go ahead and take the radio out of it, take the steering wheel off it," because the steering wheel I was getting off the bullet was having a hard time coming off with the puller. And the reason I wanted the steering wheel was because this Mach 1, the very top of the leather on the top of the steering wheel was just peeling a little bit, so I was going to go ahead and take the steering wheel from the bullet since they were going to tow the car away in a couple days anyway. And so I took a bunch of the Mach 460 speakers and tweeters out of the bullet as well, and I was trying to get the radio to work on this Mach 1 because the tweeters later I had found out they were all blown, but I couldn't figure out why the amps weren't working or if it was the tweeters or whatever it was. And he was really nice to say, "Go ahead and take the radio, the stock head unit out of my Mach 1, take anything you need." And so he was very kind. I gave him a little bit of money, but it was really not much compared to what he gave me, and so that was very nice of him to be so generous. So anyway, hopefully this Mach 1, the parts will live on, just like I've said about the other cars that are wrecked, and he'll get another one. And it's just really unfortunate that there's another car gone. Now, in some of my videos lately, I made the one about New Age Mustangs disappearing, and that video has done incredibly well. I wasn't planning on it being a major video, but it's got over 20,000 views on it now. And the comments, some people are pretty dumb in those comments. They're saying things like, "Oh, these cars aren't disappearing, blah, blah, blah. They made tons of them." Well, the truth is, the rare ones like the Mach 1s, the Bullets, the Cobras, they are getting wrecked. Here's an example of this one. There's been several lately that I've noticed.
that are actually getting totaled. Even cars that I've already done stories about, I can see them now that they're getting in even worse shape. So just want to say these cars are getting harder to find, and as time goes on there will be fewer of them. So thanks for watching the story. I really appreciate it. I hope you subscribe to the channel and have the notification bell so that you can watch these stories as they come out, because I have several more I'm working on. Thanks.